afternoon, everyone. I'm here to show you a gorgeous stem journal that I've made using Paulette's giveaway kit and Tracie Fox tags. I have absolutely loved doing this, and I kind of got carried away with it, so it's quite a big journal. Anyway, to get this kit, it's called Curious Minds. It started on the 23rd, so you've got about 5 days left. You need to purchase something from Paulette's store or Zurn store for $3.99. Okay, and then you get this huge, and I am talking huge kit. Okay, so let me show you the papers first. Isn't that gorgeous, that train? I'm not going to mess about because obviously there's a lot to show you. I just absolutely love these. This has got to be one of my absolute favourite pages, this one. You know, amoebas and cells, and because I actually did biology and human biology A levels, and I just absolutely love science. It's wonderful. Look at that. How incredible is that? Coronavirus. Here we come. Absolutely beautiful. I just love the colouring in this, and there is so much you can do with it, and there's so many ways you can go. So that's the pages. Then we have 2 paintants. We've got the electric light bulb from Edison, and we have the telescope from Edwin Lohman, which I think is absolutely amazing to get those. Now, I've printed them all extra large on here, so you'll be able to see them really well, but that's not the size you'll print them out. There's 2 lovely, lovely pockets. I love the shape of those. Then you get 4 big tags. Well, obviously, you're not going to print them off as big as this, because obviously this is where I've had printer problems, so everything's been sort of just printed as I got it. Oops. And I think they are absolutely brilliant. Then you've got these gorgeous, gorgeous, that way around, file folders, and again you'd print them half size, wouldn't you? You wouldn't print them as big as this. That one's got science, and you've got the telescope, then, you know, microscope, not telescope. Then you've got them, the tags much smaller, and you've got these much smaller, so you've got diddy ones. Then we've got some fabulous stamps. These wonderful, wonderful journaling cards, and absolutely gorgeous. I love that we've got climatology in here. I really do. That really tickled me pink, that one did. Wonderful ephemera. I love these. Look at these light bulbs. You don't get them like that anymore, do you? And then the paintants, again, they're smaller, so you can use these as journaling cards. Whoops. And then you've got the envelopes, little, 2 little ones. You've got these fabulous belly bands. Then you've got these letters. You might be able to see them better that way, but it basically says vintage industry. That's what you can make with these letters, is vintage industry. Okay? And you can see industry, and then you've got age down the bottom, so you could even put aged something like me. Right, so that's the huge, huge, enormous kit. Now, traces, I've used layered tags. Now, I love these layered tags. I really, really do. I absolutely adore these. The thing with these layered tags is you've got some that are layered up and some that are not, and if you want to layer them up, you can. This was sort of round about September, something like that, last year, that Tracie brought these out, and I think they're absolutely fabulous. I really do. I love the way she managed to get the bulldog clips. And this is a gorgeous ephemera. I just adore that red butterfly. So see, like here, you can pop them onto top of there. And all these fabulous botanicals are really, really gorgeous, aren't they? And again, you can marry up. And then Tracie's got some that she's already stacked up. And I think these are wonderful. I love the colouring on them. I really do. And obviously, you know, you've got field record on here. And one of them has archaeological on them and things like this. That's why they fit in really well with this stem journal. And then you've got diddy ones there. And all the ephemera and everything is in the smaller size as well. So you can do a mini journal. Right, so that's the layered tags kit. Then I've used, she's got botanical specimen ephemera. Now I've used some of these. I've used other ones as well, different labels. I've got so many different labels, so I wouldn't be able to actually tell you exactly which kit most of them came from. I was trying to guess which ones they were from, but I've used some of these, which are really fabulous. Now, I've got a bag just here. These are very similar, these vintage botanical plates, but it's these ones that I've actually used. And for the life of me, can I find the file? I've obviously moved it since I've been printing, and I will have to try and find it. But they are really, really fabulous. So they're similar to the vintage botanicals, but they're not the vintage botanicals. So I need to find them so I can actually show you. And I thought you might like to see these tags, how they look when they're actually cut out, and what I mean about the layering up. So say you've got this one here, you can then take one and layer it up yourself, which then means you can stick your labels and that in the side. You know how it looks like when you've got your labels in here, which I think gives it such a lovely effect. It really does, you know, if you do this sort of thing. So you've got the opportunity to just use them like that, or with all the little bits tucked in. So yeah, I've got another bundle. Honestly, I would have carried on making more for this gem journal. What is it? It's science, technology, and the E I always forget, and maths. What is the E? It's gone out of my head. It's not ecology, it's something else. I'll remember it later. It's the one word that keeps escaping me. So you'll all be shouting at me now what it is, won't you? Yeah, you're all shouting at me the answer. Right, and then what I've done in the journal, I've put in 3 tags that I made last year when we did the 30-day tag challenge, when Tracie and Andrea did the fabrication and they did all the tags, and we had a month of tag making, and Andrea suggested that we do 100 if we can in the 30 days. I managed to do over 200. I just kept going because I wanted to encourage the rest of the group, you know, to keep making them. And I was surprised how many I made when I actually added them all up at the end. And I'm still using them now, and I absolutely love doing that. But I made some of the slides up, and the kit for all the slides, and I'll be showing you some in a minute, is her assemblage slides and tags kit. So I will actually link this one as well. This is the one I liked the most because you can then cut the round holes out here, and you can put your samples in there. Or here you can put square or circle holes in it and put your ephemera underneath, but I'll show you those in a minute so you'll understand what I'm talking about. So I've had an absolute whale of a time, I really have, because I absolutely love science. So let me bring my journal in, and it's a big one, this one. Let's make sure you're in okay. Yeah, he's a big boy, he is. But it's funny, isn't it? When you make, I'm going to take that cloth on. When you're making a journal and you come towards, you know, this stage where you've got the signature sewn in, you're starting to put the ephemera in, and you hold it and you feel it, you just suddenly think, yeah, I love this journal. It's one of those that I just, you know, I know that feels amazing. And I just couldn't put it down. Now the fabric, if I show you, go around to the back, I was really fortunate to find this on eBay, and it is actually a science fabric. It's just a lovely cotton, and I was tickled pink when I found this because I didn't think I'd be able to find a fabric that would actually work with a stem journal. So let's pull that out there. I've put one of the hitch posts on here, so it's quite easy. I'm going to get some different elastic because this elastic is rubbish, but I couldn't find my black elastic. So okay, here we go. So in the front cover here, I managed to find lots and lots of old book pages and things like this. We've got like trigonometry, you know, poisons and their antidotes. I thought it was quite an interesting one when I found that. And most of these came from our lovely friends at Karma Collectibles. There's spinal curvature. That's a different one to have. So, you know, I've found so many different wonderful old book pages. Look, rubbing the back. It's a back rubber, and then he's rubbing his chest there. Some of the inventions that have been made, you know, over the past, it's just absolutely incredible. And these are profit and loss things, and what's this one? Discoveries and inventions. You've got your thermometers in there. And then you've got, you know, the skeleton of mammals. He looks quite fun, and he looks like he's happy. Oh dear. The mathematical desk companion. And then I've put one of the patents in the front here, and that's the electric lamp from Edison. So let's start at the front here. So I've made one of the tags up. I've sewn all my tags. Now this is the bice binding that we get here. Your binding is so different. This is like a cotton, but it's a bit stiff. And then when we get it, you will see that line down there. That is actually the bit that's folded over, and it's ironed down, and that's ready for you to sew onto your garments. Right here, so I've used one of the letters up here, and I've put a little Louis Pasteur up in the corner there. This particular ephemera I thought I would use as a belly band, and I've got the Morse code sat underneath there. Here, now what I did, I went on the computer and I used that lovely Harrington font again, and I've written a lot of different words out, scientific type words, you know, do with the science. And what I thought I was going to do is I've put the COVID vaccine in there. That says genetic modification, because obviously with genetic modification we've been able to get the vaccines. 23rd of March is the date that our lockdown started, and the 23rd of March obviously is just gone, and I've put the 1 year lockdown in the middle of there. I thought it'd be something quite nice to remember. Now these are the labels I'm talking about. Now what I did was I actually made a master sheet, you know, a master board, and I used some old botanicals, but all of this, like with the test tubes and what have you, is mine from when I was at school, and that's sort of a long time ago. And this is what I'm talking about with the, let me do it on the back, you'll be able to see it better. Can you see about taking the hole out of the middle, taking the circle out, and then putting your specimen in? And I've put some lovely fabrics on. That's actually their silk fabrics. Can't remember her name again now. I'll remember her name. Sorry, I'm having one of them days today, aren't I? I've just had one of those weeks. And then this page here, that's on astronomy. And that's one of the little, tiny little envelopes. And all the envelopes have got journaling cards in. See, that one's got the botany one in. Pop it back in there. Now, the other kit I've used of Tracie's, which I totally forgot to print off, are her coordinations. Now, Tracie's coordinations, I don't know if you can see that well. As you can see, you've got this lovely coordination here, this coordinate, and it'll tell you exactly how many degrees north and west you need to go to find a certain place. And that particular one is for the Victoria and Albert Museum. But in the group at the moment, you need to think of something that you haven't done for a long time or you don't like doing. And I've not used stickers in forever, so I printed all the coordinations on and cut them out, and I've put them all the way through here, because you think about science and about how they managed to get the coordinations, and now we've got coordinations where we can go and how you manage to do it and things like this. And then of course telescopes come into it. You know, doing a STEM journal, you can go so many different ways with science. So I've popped all those in as well. Now for me, I'm a herbalist, and I actually did the degree to do herbalism. And while I was doing it, you go into a lot of Chinese medicine, about hot and cold herbs. If you've ever done it, you'll understand what I'm talking about, about how how diseases are thought of to be as hot and cold and things like this. And I came across Avicennia. Now, if you've never heard of Avicennia before, is also known as Ibn Sin. Now, Ibn means son of. So he's the son of Sina, which is his dad's name. My name is Abu Zagharit, and Abu means son of. Okay? That is where it came from. And he did herbalism. And he did a lot of other things as well, but he was into healing. And I'll show you some of his drawings as we go through this about some of the things that he went into and how he was studying the human body and things like that. So that's what I've gone and done on here. Now, he's a very, very nice looking young man. There he is. That's Avicennia. We've got our Marie Curie up here. We've got, again, meters up in there. And then on here we've got botanicals and neurons and algebra and pi. And that's one of Tracie's lovely tags. And you've got Hippocrates on there and Avicennia. Let's tuck him back in there again. Love Amazon packaging, don't you? I love it in my journals. I just love it. Discoveries and inventions. There's our Harry there. These particular tags, I used the page with all the lovely cells on it. I thought they were really lovely. I really loved using those. I have left a couple of blank pages. You can see this is Avicennia's work. And I put weights and balances on that one. And here I've printed obviously in two different sizes. These are the images I'm going to desperately try and find for you. And of course, Tracie's other labels. These are the random sciencey labels. She's got sciencey labels and she's got random sciencey labels. Oh dear, and there's another picture of him there when he got a bit older. And we've got algebra on there. I've done marine biology and the periodic table. And I found these lovely, lovely words. We've got width of life is more important than length of life. And I thought that was amazing. And that's from Avicennia. Another lovely envelope in here. Now, that's the coordinates for the Taj Mahal up there. Tracie must have had so much fun looking out for all these with Jay. Then I've got some more words on here. Look, catalytic converter up there. And I kept that one quite simple. I've put the chemistry and genetics and physics on that one. And we've got Galileo in there. And you're all going to start singing the Queen song now, aren't you? But do you know who Galileo is? Galileo, he actually found out that the sun was the centre of the universe. They didn't know before that. So and you're all still singing Galileo, aren't you? I know you are. So this is like chemistry and physics on there. Another envelope. And of course they've all got tags in. I won't get them all out. And there's Avicennia again. And another one there. And you've got a suspension bridge. I love him. I think he's brilliant. says on there, never stop questioning. As soon as kids know how to say how or why, obviously in Surrey and in England, it's why. Come up here and they say how. And the first time your kid turns around to you and says how instead of why, you're like, what? And you're trying to think, how do I answer this one? You know, because you're not used to it. And what it means is how come. But that totally flew through me when we first moved to Scotland. Isn't that God? I mean, those tags are just so beautiful. And with those images, they just work amazingly. And look at this wonderful anatomy picture here. Now, this is Abyssinia here. Can you see how he's drawn the skull and he's drawn the lungs and the brain and the heart? You know, he really did study so well. And from him, that's where we get modern medicines. This one down here is Mount Fuji. And then we've got William Herschel. He was a British astronomer. I think he was also a composer, wasn't he? Yeah. And Benjamin Franklin. And these are sort of out of his book. I mean, you probably can't see this one very well, but you've actually got the skull and you've got the ribs coming off the sternum here that he drew. And that's a book out of his journal that he made. And it's talking about fuel becoming energy. You see, I've had so much fun, can't you? I don't have a name and I don't have a plot. I have the typewriter and I have paper and I have me. And that should add up to a novel. Start typing. Leaning Tower of Pisa. And I've got psychology there and biology. Food and digestion. And that's another one of the tags that I did last year. And you can see I've put the sample in there. You'll be asleep by now. I've only got halfway through. There's another one. Oops, I think some of the glue's come off. I have to stick him back down. Body, the food and its digestion. And there's Simon Newcomb there. He was an astronomer. And then we hear, an ignorant doctor is the aide-de-camp of death. In other words, you need somebody who knows what he's talking about. I don't know, the doctors here in the UK seem to have sort of all fallen asleep. They, you know, now they've got used to this, not having you in the surgery and only making certain phone calls, and you can only contact them if it's an absolute emergency. I think they're getting really used to this. You know, not having a surgery full of people coughing and dying on them. There's that climatology again. And these are more of Tracie's mini little embellishments. That's the Bermuda Triangle. Easter Island. As you can see, I've had an absolute whale of a time. And I had to make myself stop. There's another one of those tags using the Tracie's. And you see what I mean about the putting the little labels in on the side. It makes such a lovely looking tag. Here, contribution of Ibn Sina to the development of earth sciences. I've got a pair of legs. His eyes don't look too good. So, I won't pull all these out because obviously you've seen some of them. And there's Abyssinia when he got a bit older. And there's our pal again. He's still there. Microbiology. And that one is, oh, the Guggenheim, the museum. And then we've got Abyssinia again. And then we've got the National Portrait Gallery. And there's another one of these. And this time I've put the 4 little squares in. So that was the other one I showed you. There's actually 7 pages to that kit. I've only printed off 2. Okay, why are you not going in? Maybe if I got the bottom way, it might go in better. Yeah, so there's actually 7 pages to that kit. I didn't. There's some actual little flowers that you can fussy cut out and put underneath as well. That's Lake Ibrahim, or Abraham as you say, sorry. Put my head back in. Niagara Falls. Synaptic pathways. Another one there. Test tubes and scientific research. So I've just had an absolute ball making this, I really have. And another one in there of Tracie's layered tags. And that says Babylon. And then in the back I've made just a little tiny little notebook. I love that Amazon paper. It goes so well with the avocado paper, doesn't it? A little notebook. And that's the other painting that I showed you before. So yeah, I've absolutely loved making this. And, you know, Tracie's stuff with that kit, it just made it for me. It really did. To be able to do all those tags. And it was to try and get something vintage looking. You know, we're talking about history here. Obviously, you can make this modern. You can go whichever way you want on this because, you know, a STEM journal, you can use any science technology you want to. You just go for it. But for me, because I have such a love of herbalism and Avicennia, I've studied so much about him. That's why I wanted to include him in this. But as I said before, you could go to the Egyptians because you think about how they knew how to get the brain out of your nostril. You know, stick a crochet hook up there. They were taking out the organs and putting them in canopic jars. There was so much study on the body and things like this, you know. And you think to mummify a body, I don't think they could do it nowadays. I mean, they really knew what they were doing. Or you could go to biology. You could go to human biology. So you could study plants, you could study animals, you could study the human body. People like marine biology, that was one of the words I actually came up when I was doing this. I had a friend who would have become a marine biologist when we were at school. Another one wanted to be a pharmacist. There's so many ways you can go with this. And I've actually made this quite masculine looking. I didn't make it that feminine. But if you made this more feminine, obviously you could give it to a nurse. You know, a student nurse would love something like this. You know, they could put their notes in and things like that. Or if you've got, you know, a granddad that's really into something in particular, maybe like my dad, it was bees. He just absolutely loved bees. He was really great in the garden. You know, you could go that way. I just absolutely love this. It is just such a lovely, lovely kit. And it's in the style of Paulette when I first met her. When I first knew about Paulette, her kits were quite, you know, you had the brown in there and they were quite dusky and not as like pretty as we've got now, you know, that some of the ones that she's doing with Zurn. And I just loved it. I've really, really enjoyed doing this. I really have. So I will link everything down below. I will try and link as many of Tracie's kits as I can. Because obviously I use so many. I was having a field day. I got all my little boxes out, all my little match boxes, my tins. You couldn't move in this kitchen. I was just having fun. And I'm sure I'm going to carry on and do even more on this because I've just really, really enjoyed it. I think this is going to be something that I will keep adding to. I'll probably end up with a stack of them by the time I've finished. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Do go along and join both the groups. As I say, Tracie's got that lovely, lovely challenge going on at the moment. And some of the things the girls are doing are absolutely incredible. They really are. You know, Tracie always tries to go out of the comfort zone. Now, the other thing that Tracie's doing at the moment, she's making a junk journal. And that means not using a kit, using junk and making a proper junk journal where we all started before kits were being used. And she's been doing jelly printing and goodness knows what else. And she's on video 3 today, and they are amazing. They are absolutely brilliant, and I know you will absolutely love them. So I will link the videos as well that she's done. If I link video 1, then obviously you'll be able to find 2, 3 after it, won't you? The consecutive ones. But do join in the challenge in Tracie's group. Do go over and get this kit, because you will have such amazing time with it. Father's Day. I think this would be brilliant for somebody for Father's Day. I really, really do. My dad, when I was growing up, he was very much into astrology. Astronomy, not astrology. Astronomy. You know, and of course we were very, very fortunate when I was growing up, that we saw the moon landings and everything, you know, firsthand, so to speak. So if he wasn't ill the way he is, because obviously he's like a child now, you know, he can't, you know, he's got very, very bad memory, you know, he has to be looked after 24/7. This would have been amazing to make him one of these on astrology. He would have absolutely have loved that. So I'm going to leave you with that there, and hopefully you'll go over and do this. And if you do get the kit, I so want to see what you do with it, which way you go, because really there's any way you could go with this. And the other thing is, this would be brilliant for a child who's at secondary school. You think of somebody who's